Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Amber and I'm back with another video. So as you guys could tell by the title, today's video is everything you need to know about natural hair. So I'll be talking about hair types, hair porosity, hair thickness, and hair density. Those 4 things. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell if you want to get notified whenever I post. Let's get into the video. There are 4 different hair types: type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. These hair types basically determine your curl pattern. Type 1 hair is straight hair. So straight hair has a tendency to become very oily. It does have the most sheen out of all the hair types. It is the most resilient hair. It's difficult to become damaged, and it's the silkiest out of all the hair types. So type 2 hair is wavy hair. So this is in between straight and curly. So it has an S-shaped wave pattern. This type of hair is more prone to frizz compared to straight hair. It's also not as oily as type 1 hair due to its texture. It tends to have more volume than type 1 hair, and it can be resistant to styling. So type 3 hair is curly hair. This curl pattern is spirals like a spring. This type of hair is very prone to frizz compared to wavy hair. It's very reactive to humidity. It can become very puffy and frizzy and all that type of stuff. This type of hair tends to have a lot of volume. Curly hair is very prone to damage. You can see this when the curls are dull and it's not just giving life, Next is type 4 hair, yours truly. This is kinky, coily hair. This type of hair actually has a lot of different patterns. It could be tightly coiled, it can be spring-like, it could be a zigzag pattern. This type of hair is actually the most fragile. A lot of people think that because type 4 hair is known for its thickness, that it's actually the strongest, but it's actually on the opposite end of the spectrum. It is the weakest type of hair. That is because it's the driest out of all the hair types. It's very prone to breakage, and it's damage prone. So depending on how much heat or chemical processes you put on your hair, it can really affect your curl pattern. And although it is the most fragile hair type, it is the most versatile in styling. So there is 3 different levels of hair porosity. There's low, medium, and high. The porosity of your hair determines how well moisture and oils pass through your hair cuticle. Your hair cuticle is the outermost layer of your hair strand. So first, low porosity hair, the hair cuticles are very closely packed together. Because there is little to no space between the hair cuticles, it makes it harder for water, oils, and other hair products to pass through and reach the hair shaft. So because of this, it repels moisture. So you can see that if you're applying product to your hair and it's just sitting on top of it, you most likely have low porosity hair. And because it takes so long to become wet, it also takes a long time for it to dry. Low porosity hair is also prone to product buildup. Because you're applying so much product and your hair is not taking in that moisture, it begins to build up a lot. So the best products to use is liquid-based products. Another tip for low porosity hair is to use the LCO method. So this is leave-in, cream, and oil. So you want to apply moisture, and then seal it in. Next is normal porosity hair, also known as medium porosity hair. This type of hair, the cuticles are less tightly bound compared to low porosity hair. This type of hair allows the right amount of moisture to enter into your hair shaft. Normal porosity hair retains moisture for longer periods of time, and this type of hair tends to look very shiny and glossy. A tip for this type of hair is deep conditioning often and doing protein treatments. And if you guys didn't know, I have normal porosity hair. Thing with normal porosity hair, it can change easily depending on how well you take care of your hair. So it can shift to low porosity or it can shift to high porosity. So next we have high porosity hair. This is when the cuticles are widely spaced. This allows moisture to enter easily into the hair shaft, but it is unable to retain that moisture that enters in. This type of hair is very prone to dryness. It can become tangled very easily, frizzy, as well as it's very prone to breakage. You really should be avoiding heat and doing protein treatments as well as using the lock method. So leave-in, oil, and cream. Moisture, seal, and moisture, because really with high porosity hair, you want to lock in as much moisture as you can. So this is the opposite of low porosity hair, basically. So in case you guys want to test out what kind of hair porosity you have, I'm going to be telling you guys 2 tests that you guys can do. So the first one is basically you're going to take a hair strand, preferably out of a comb or a brush. So you're going to take this hair strand and place it in a clear glass of water and let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. So after those 15 minutes, you should see that your hair either floats and stays on top, or it goes in the middle, or it sinks all the way to the bottom. So if it stays on top, that means you have low porosity hair. If it stays in the middle, you have normal porosity hair. If it sinks to the bottom, then you have high porosity hair. Another way to also test out your hair porosity is by taking a strand, not pulling it out of your hair or anything, taking a single strand and glide your finger up and down to see if it's smooth or bumpy. If it's bumpy, then you most likely have high porosity hair. If your finger glides smoothly along the hair strand, then that means you have low porosity hair. And if you have normal porosity hair, it should be like in between those two. So people often confuse this with hair density, which I'll be talking about next. Basically, this is the width of a single hair strand and basically how thick or thin your hair is collectively. Your hair thickness basically tells you how much manipulation your hair can handle without it breaking off. So there is 3 levels. There's fine, medium, and coarse. Fine hair is very small in width, which makes it very weak. And because it's so weak, it's very prone to breakage and damage. For this type of hair, you want to manipulate your hair less often and use less detangling tools. Like you don't want to be using combs or brushes. It's better to finger detangle. For medium thickness, it's between thick and thin, right in the middle. So these hair strands are strong and it has a lot of elasticity. The next level is coarse hair. So this type of hair is the strongest because it has the widest circumference. This makes it very difficult to damage, is very easy to style, and is able to handle more manipulation. So when I was talking about type 4 hair, how a lot of people get it misconstrued that it is the strongest hair type, it's actually based on how thick your hair is. So if you have coarse hair, then that means you have really strong hair. So you can have type 1 hair and have coarse hair. You can have type 4 hair and have fine hair, which means you have weak hair strands. So that is the T, literally. Also, coarse hair is easier to retain length because it's less prone to break off. I have coarse hair, like my hair strands are very strong, so I'm able to grow my hair very long without it breaking off. However, coarse hair can become very brittle if you apply too much heat. So that is why I only straighten my hair 1 to 2 times a year. So I'm gonna tell you guys a test that you can do if you wanna see what kind of hair thickness you have. So you just need to take a hair strand, preferably out of a comb or a brush, and hold it up to a light. And if you can see the hair strand, that means it's coarse. If you can't see the hair strand, that means you have thin hair. And medium hair, of course, is in between those two. So hair density is how many hair strands grow on your scalp. Knowing your hair density helps you know how much product to apply to your hair to prevent product buildup. It can also help with styling. For example, if you're doing twist outs on low density hair, you want to do smaller parts so when you're taking it down, you will have more volume. Versus if you're doing a twist out on high density hair, then you want to do bigger parts. So there is 3 levels of hair density. There's low, medium, and high. Low density hair, you have low volume, so you don't have a lot of hair strands, and you can basically see your scalp very easily. Medium density, you can see some of your hair scalp. For high density, it's the opposite of low. You have high volume hair, which means that you have a lot of hair strands, and it's very difficult or impossible to see your hair scalp. So for me, I have high density hair. My hair is very full in volume. I'll insert some pictures. You can't see my scalp, like you literally can't unless I physically part it. So to test your hair density is basically what I was just saying. So you look at your hair in your natural state, and if you can easily see your scalp without it being parted, then that means you have low density hair. If you can't see your hair scalp, that means you have high density hair. And if you can see your scalp at some places, then you most likely have medium density hair. Okay, guys, that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. It took a lot of research to do all of this. So I talked about hair types, hair porosity, hair thickness, and hair density. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell so you get notified whenever I post. Bye, y'all.